Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. You ready to explore another corner of the animal kingdom?
Absolutely. Always ready for a new adventure.
Well, today we're going high up, really high up, to learn about a fascinating feline you might not have even heard of before.
Sounds intriguing. I'm all ears.
It's the Andean cat. Ever heard of them?
Andean cat. That rings a bell, but I can't say I know much about them.
They're pretty amazing though. I mean, these cats live way up in the Andes Mountains, one of the most extreme environments on the planet. We're talking frigid temperatures, rugged terrain, the whole 9 yards.
Okay, now you've got my attention. High altitude cats. Gotta be tough to survive up there.
They are, and one of the things that helps them is their fur. It's like super thick and fluffy, almost like a mini mountain lion.
Wow, a tiny, fluffy mountain lion braving the Andes? Okay, I'm officially hooked. Tell me more.
Well, to really understand these cats, we need to understand their home turf, right?
For sure. So, just how high up in the Andes are we talking?
Pretty darn high.
Lay it on me.
Think like 3,000 to 5,000 meters above sea level.
Whoa, that is high.
Yeah, it's no walk in the park. That's why they're considered one of the highest dwelling cats on Earth.
And it's not just the altitude, right? What's the terrain like?
Think rocky, rugged, sparse vegetation.
Got it. Definitely not a lot of cozy spots to curl up in.
Nope. And the temperatures. Forget about it. They swing wildly from day to night. Plus, oxygen's thin, food scarce. It's a tough life.
That's putting it mildly. So, besides that awesome fur coat you mentioned, what other tricks do these cats have up their furry sleeves to survive in such a harsh place?
Well, you hit the nail on the head with the fur. It's not just about warmth, it's also about blending in. Their coat is this silvery-gray color, perfect camouflage against the rocks.
Smart. Makes them practically invisible to prey and probably helps them avoid any unwanted attention, too.
Exactly. And speaking of blending in, their tail plays a big role too.
Ah, the tail. Classic cat feature. What's special about the Andean cat's tail?
Well, it's super long and bushy with these dark rings. And you know what? It acts like a counterbalance when they're navigating those steep, rocky slopes.
Makes sense. Keeps them steady on their paws.
Right. Plus, when it gets super cold at night, they can wrap that big, fluffy tail around themselves for extra warmth.
Like a built-in scarf. That's pretty ingenious. But it still makes me wonder, what on earth do they find to eat in such a barren environment? I mean, there can't be a lot of options up there, right?
You're telling me no all-you-can-eat buffet in the high Andes, that's for sure. But they've got a pretty reliable food source. The mountain viscacha.
The what sauce?
The viscacha, it's like this large rodent, kind of resembles a fluffy rabbit.
Okay, so picture a big furry rabbit hopping around the Andes. I can see it.
Exactly. And luckily for the Andean cat, these viscachas are pretty abundant throughout their range.
So viscachas are like their go-to meal.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But they're also opportunistic hunters, which means they'll go after other small mammals, birds, even the occasional lizard if they get the chance. They got to be resourceful to make it up there.
Absolutely. Every calorie counts. But speaking of challenges, what are the biggest threats these resourceful felines are facing? I mean, living at such extreme altitudes has got to be tough enough as it is.
It is, and sadly, they're facing a whole bunch of threats from us humans, too.
Oh, that's no good. What kind of threats are we talking about?
Well, the big one is habitat loss. You've got mining operations, agriculture expanding, and even urbanization creeping further up the mountains. All of this is squeezing their territory, making it harder to find food and mates.
That's a familiar story, unfortunately. Humans encroaching on wildlife habitat. Anything else?
Yeah, and this one's particularly sad. They also get hunted and trapped, sometimes because of cultural beliefs, but also to protect livestock.
That's heartbreaking. And I can't help but wonder, with everything else they're dealing with, how does climate change factor into the equation?
It's a big worry, and it's
Yeah.
definitely making things tougher for them. As temperatures rise and weather patterns change, it throws the whole Andean ecosystem out of whack.
Right, it's like changing the rules of the game right when they've finally mastered them. Makes survival even more of an uphill battle.
Exactly. They're adapted to this incredibly specific, harsh environment. But climate change is altering that environment faster than they can adapt.
So, with all these challenges, is there any hope for the Andean cat? What's being done to help them?
Well, it's definitely not all doom and gloom. There are some amazing people and organizations working hard to turn things around.
That's good to hear. Who are the heroes in this story?
One of the key players is the Andean Cat Alliance. They're doing fantastic work on multiple fronts, For example, they're working to protect crucial Andean cat habitat, educating local communities about the importance of these felines, and conducting research to better understand their behavior and the challenges they face.
It sounds like a comprehensive approach. Education is key, especially when it comes to reducing human-wildlife conflict.
Absolutely. I mean, if people understand the importance of these cats and their role in the ecosystem, they're more likely to support conservation efforts.
Makes sense. And ultimately, it's about finding ways for humans and Andean cats to coexist, right?
Exactly. It's a delicate balance, but it's one we have to strive for. After all, these cats are a vital part of the Andean ecosystem. And beyond that, they're a symbol of resilience, of adapting to one of the harshest environments on Earth.
You know, thinking about their story, it makes me wonder, what can we, even those of us who don't live anywhere near the Andes, learn from the Andean cat's resilience? And what can we do, even from afar, to contribute to their conservation? It's a question worth pondering.
It is, and I hope all our listeners will take a moment to think about it. Thanks for joining us today as we explore the incredible world of the Andean cat. Remember, even the smallest actions can make a difference when it comes to protecting our planet's amazing creatures.